Hey Soccerheads, welcome back to the second episode of the web series, and today we'll be talking about the potential of USA hosting the 2022 World Cup. Okay, so here are the facts. As of right now, Qatar is hosting the 2022 World Cup, and in 2026, the US, along with Canada and Mexico, in a joint bid, are going to host the 2026 World Cup. Okay, so let's check out why that could all change very soon. So after nearly a decade of investigating, the U.S. Department of Justice was finally able to charge Russia and Qatar for bribing top FIFA officials to get the rights to host the Men's World Cup. So really what this means is that 5 top FIFA officials were bribed to vote for Russia and Qatar, and also 3 media executives were found doing some illegal activities, and one of them was a top executive at Fox Sports. And after this happened, Qatar changed their statement from "we're not guilty" to "you can't prove it," which is literally what a 5-year-old says. So now we're going to talk about why I think Qatar should not host the World Cup, and I hope you have some time on your hands because we're going to be here a while. A majority of the workers for these stadiums are immigrants from Nepal, and when they become employed, their passports are taken from them, so it's literally impossible for them to go back home. The saddest part is that an average of 1 Nepalese worker a day dies, and the fact that construction for these stadiums has been going on for well over 1,000 days now is just terrible. And usually if they do get their passports back, it's because they signed papers saying they received good wages and living conditions, which is always false. And if you're part of the LGBTQ community, I would highly recommend not attending this World Cup because it's illegal to be that in Qatar. So you'll definitely be thrown in jail, and probably worse, if I had to guess. Consuming alcohol is also illegal in Qatar, so there will be very limited spaces where only foreigners would be allowed to consume alcohol. So it's too hot in the summer in Qatar, so the World Cup will be played in the winter, so that will change everything for the domestic leagues and the clubs. And also, the World Cup will be competing with viewers for the NBA, NHL, and National Football League. Qatar still has to build a majority of the transportation system and stadiums to be able to host everyone that will come for the games. And after the World Cup is over, all the stadiums will be deconstructed because there will be no use for them. In the end, it will all cost a total of $220 billion. This is ex-FIFA president Sepp Blatter, and he's the mastermind behind Qatar getting the World Cup bid, but luckily he's been banned for 6 years because he was found guilty of bribes and corruption. And about a week after the U.S. indicted Russia and Qatar, he spoke to this German newspaper and said that if Qatar was not able to host the World Cup, that the U.S. would be the next best option. So here are the 17 finalists for stadiums that would be able to host the 2026 World Cup. In about a year, the list will go down to 10 stadiums, and those 10 will be the hosts for the USA's portion of the World Cup. And the good news is, if we need to host the 2022 World Cup, we're ready because all the stadiums are already built. So that $220 billion price tag it's going to cost Qatar to host the Men's World Cup is the reason why I don't think the U.S. will end up hosting the 2022 World Cup, because that's an astronomical number to pay and not get anything in return for it, on top of probably millions they've spent in bribes. So I don't think it's going to happen. They're going to probably figure out a way to get their charges dropped or whatever. But in the end, we're still going to be able to have the 2026 World Cup to look forward to. A little more time to wait, but it's going to be worth it in the end because we're going to be the winners of it. So thanks for watching, guys.